Wednesday, November 8th. I'm your host, Sarah Beal. On today's show, we chat with Police Chief Paul McDonald about some upcoming retirements and promotions. We check in with Senior Services Director Madeline Noonan about what's going on at the Senior Center. And finally, we'll get a transportation update with Steve Tupper of the Cape Cod Commission. But first, let's get a look at today's top headlines. Veterans Day is coming up, and there are two events we'd like you to be aware of. This year's Veterans Day Parade will take place on Friday, November 10th at 10 a.m. The parade will form next to the Town Hall building, extending back to the Village Green. The parade will step off promptly at 10 a.m. The parade will conclude at the Hyannis Village Green for the annual Barnstable Soldiers Veterans Day program. On Veterans Day, Saturday, November 11th, the first annual Barnstable Veterans Town Hall will be held from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Town Hall hearing room. The Town Hall will include 10-minute testimonies of 20 combat veterans. Please join this community event hosted by the Town of Barnstable and the Cape and Islands Veterans Outreach Center. The Town of Barnstable recently announced the Hyannis Homebuyer Assistance Program. Eligible first-time homebuyers may receive up to $75,000 to purchase a home as their primary residence in the village of Hyannis. Preference may be given to those purchasing within the downtown Hyannis Neighborhood Revitalization Strategy area. Assistance is provided as a zero-interest deferred payment second mortgage loan. Homebuyers are required to invest a minimum of 1.5% of the purchase price of the home and would repay the loan upon sale, transfer, otherwise encumber, or no longer using as their primary residence. For more information, visit townofbarnstable.us and click through to the Planning and Development Department. The 25th session of Inside Barnstable Town Government, a Citizens Leadership Academy, will begin Tuesday, January 30th. The Academy is an 11-week commitment with the goal of educating the citizens of Barnstable about the operations of town government while also obtaining valuable feedback and participation from those citizens participating in the Academy. To date, over 700 Barnstable residents and employees have participated in the program. The classes will be on Tuesday evenings from 6:30 to 9 p.m. and will be held in various locations throughout the town. The program is free of charge and open to anyone who resides or works in the town of Barnstable. Class size is limited, so please register early to avoid the waiting list. Applications are available at the town manager's office or online at townofbarnstable.us. The Town of Barnstable Public Health Division will hold a flu clinic at the St. George Greek Orthodox Community Church today, November 8th from 3 to 5 p.m. The clinic is open to town residents only and the fee is $3. For more information, call the Health Division at 508-862-4644. The Barnstable Education Foundation will be holding their third annual Run for Success on November 11th at Centerville Elementary School. The races will begin at 10 a.m. and include a 5K and 10K run or a 5K walk. The Barnstable Education Foundation's purpose is to receive, raise, and administer funds for the benefit of the students in Barnstable Public Schools. So come on down November 11th and support the Barnstable Education Foundation. For more information, please visit www.barnstableeducationfoundation.org. Up next, we will talk with Chief of Police Paul McDonald. Chief, thank you so much for joining us today. We got some good news to talk about. We have some new sergeants that are being sworn in this week because you have 3 sergeants that are retiring. What can you tell me about this?
Well, 3 sergeants recently advised us that they're retiring. Sergeant Chris Chalice, he retired as of last week. Sergeant Sweeney and Sergeant Demery, who both have been here for over 30 years, they've submitted their paperwork and they are retiring at the early 2018. So we started a process of promoting 3 new sergeants, and they went through the process. The process was recently completed after meeting with the town manager, Mr. Els, and the 3 new sergeants is Officer Eric Driftmeyer, who has over 21 years experience, Detective Robert Bettinas, who has over 10 years experience, and Officer Jason Sturgis, who has 18 years experience. And they bring a wide range of experience to their new position. Officer Driftmeyer, he's been the department crime analyst for the past 6 years. Detective Bettinas, he's been a detective for the past year. And Officer Sturgis, I believe everyone knows Jason, he's been part of the Community Impact Unit since the very beginning. So everybody will miss him off of Main Street, and all 3 of the new sergeants are being reassigned back to the patrol division. 2 of them will probably be going to the midnight shift, 1 will probably be going to the day shift. So they're excited, their family's excited, so it's a great move for the department. And of course, we're losing 3 very experienced sergeants. We hate to do that, but they've all done their time and they're all moving on.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear Sergeant Sweeney's name in that list because, I mean,
everybody knows Sergeant
yes,
Sweeney.
everybody knows him.
He's been around for 36 years. He's been here for a long, long time, but he's earned the right to retire.
Yes, he has, and also Sergeant Damery. That's also another one. I'm
Yep.
surprised to hear his name. So that it's you're losing some really great guys, but you're also promoting some really incredible and hardworking individuals into these
Absolutely,
new roles.
absolutely. Yeah, we hate to lose the experienced officers. I mean, just the institutional knowledge they've gained over the years is invaluable. But they've earned their retirement; they have a right to it. And new blood's good. Bring on these three new guys, these three new kids, young men. They're going to do an awesome job, and they bring a very set of unique skills. Back to patrol, being the analyst, detective, and part of the community impact unit. They're going to do very, very well in the patrol division.
That's wonderful. And speaking of the Community Impact Unit, is there a plan to replace Officer Sturgis?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
He will be replaced. We will post a position. We do have policy in place of how we do that. All three officers, their specialty positions will be filled. We'll post the positions, and all the officers within the department. We have 117 sworn officers. They will all have an opportunity to put in for the position. They will go through the process, and we will pick three patrol officers to take over their positions.
Wonderful. And I know you also have 4 new officers that are in the academy now. They'll be graduating next week. Let's talk a little bit about them.
We have 4 officers who are finishing up the academy. The academy is up in Plymouth. They're in the 25th week. They actually graduate from the academy next Wednesday, and then the following Monday they start here for the 2-week in-house training. This is a very unique group that we have, 4 individuals, and 2 of them were actually born in Brazil, and they immigrated to this country. So this is the first time. We do have some young men who are from Brazil working here. Their parents immigrated here, but they were born in this country. But these 2 officers, young officers, they immigrated to this country and they became police officers. And we're looking forward to having them. We have a diverse community, and it's important for us to have a police department that reflects our community. So this is a huge step in the right direction.
That's wonderful, and it'd be so nice to have them on board. It's another tool in connecting with the community, is having these officers who are familiar with the Brazilian community.
Right, and we have a significant Brazilian community. They're just hard-working people, but the police in Brazil are probably a little bit different from the police in this country, and I think this will break down a lot of barriers between the Brazilian community and the police department.
That's so wonderful. Thank you so much, Chief, for giving all this wonderful news. And like I said, before we got on the air, I told you that we'll be there on Thursday, so I'm looking forward to covering the sergeants being sworn in on Thursday.
Good. We'll see you then.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. My guest today is Chief of Police Paul McDonald. Coming up, we'll learn about a potential federal grant from Cape Cod Commission Transportation Planner Steve Tupper. But first, let's check in with Senior Services Director Madeline Noonan. Maddie, thank you so much for joining us today. We have so much to talk about. There's always so much going on at the Senior Center. I know we say that every time I have you on the phone, but it's so true. You guys have so many things going on. Mm-hmm. You have some talks coming up that we wanted to make sure that people were aware of.
Yeah. So we're, sort of in the midst of fall, which I think is just one of definitely my favorite seasons here on Cape Cod. We have such a beautiful fall here, but that means that winter is not very far away, and unfortunately with that comes along seasonal affective disorder, or SAD disorder, which many people are familiar with the shorter days and a lot of darkness around us, and it really is a disorder that affects a lot of people in the dark, cold months. So on actually today, November 8th, at 10 a.m., we are going to have a presentation on seasonal affective disorder as one of our many health talks that we do at the Senior Centre. We have some experts from Kindred Healthcare that are going to come in and discuss the symptoms and offer some strategies, of how to minimize them to help people get through, like a tough time of year for many of us. And it seems like, I don't know, Sarah, do you feel this, that every year winter feels a little bit longer and summer feels a little bit shorter?
Yeah.
So really what we want to try and do is kind of, make the winter bearable. One of the good things, like I like to say, is that the Senior Centre is always here. So if things get too much, there's always something going on, and there's a bright and warm welcome here at the Senior Centre. But this is a great way to, help people understand, and maybe they don't realize that they might have it, but this might, give them a little bit more information education and awareness. It's free, like all of our health talks. You just need to drop in or give us a call at 508-862-4750. Also today, a little bit later this afternoon, at 1:30, we're actually really proud to welcome our colleagues over in the Weights and Measures Department in Consumer Affairs. They're going to be over here at the Senior Centre doing a presentation really about what they do. I think it's really interesting. That many people might not really be aware of how much is involved in the Weights and Measures division. And so if people are thinking about all the different transactions that occur, things from like the weighing of deli meat to, when you go pump your gas and you see inspected by the Weights and Measures Department, they're going to shed some light on all of the efforts they do just to make sure that there's equity in the marketplace. So that's a really great opportunity. Again, it's a free talk from 1:30 to 2:30. And if people want to give us an RSVP, that's great, or they can just show up. And what's really interesting about Weights and Measures, they don't just serve the town of Barnstable, but they provide this service for, I believe it's 10 other towns on Cape Cod.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've done a few segments with them over the years, and the first time I did it, I never realized how much they do. And now, because I've done that, everywhere I go, I see those stickers.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're on the gas pumps. They're on every scale that you use. When you're at the grocery store and you're checking out, there's stickers on there too. They provide such a wonderful service here.
Yeah, and it makes you feel a lot safer as a consumer to know that, all of the work that they're doing to make sure that people aren't, being overcharged, or I think it's really important. It's a really important municipal service, and it's a great thing to learn more about. So we're very, very excited for that. Then tomorrow we have the AARP Driver Safety Program, which is a program that we strongly recommend. We offer it a couple of times a year at the Senior Centre because it's a really great opportunity for people to come in and have a refresher. I mean, for people that have been driving for many decades, the rules of the road, things have changed, and we want to ensure that people are driving basically on the roads as safely as they can, and this is a great opportunity. It's like a 4.5-hour program. There's a $15 fee for AARP members, but it's also open to non-members who would pay $20. And really, it's basically a great way to be updated on current rules of the road, defensive driving techniques, and how to operate your vehicle safely in today's increasingly challenging driving environment. We all experience it out there. It seems like everybody's in a hurry to get somewhere. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the courtesy that we used to experience on the roads isn't there anymore. But I would highly recommend that people take this. It's a very worthy workshop.
Yeah, it's a good idea to stay up to date. Like you said, I mean, some people, may have gotten their driver's license, 50, 60 years ago. So they're still out there on the road. Definitely things have changed since the day that they got their license.
For sure, and I know
things have changed since the day I got my license.
They have, and my oldest son is about to get his learner's permit, so it's something that's really, on my mind now is just making sure that, he really pays attention, not just to how he's driving, but, when you're out on the road, you got to be vigilant as well.
Yep, it's important.
So.
And we also want, the turkey trot, that's the next.
Well, Turkey Trot is an event that's really close to our hearts here. As you know, we're almost in Thanksgiving season. This has been an event that we've been doing for countless years here at the Senior Centre, where staff and volunteers collectively prepare a home-cooked Thanksgiving meal, complete with all of the trimmings that we then deliver to homebound seniors who will be alone during the holidays. And it's such a meaningful program for us to do. Claudia Borden and Judy Red, who are our outreach coordinators here, lead this program every year. They do an absolutely stellar job. It's a program that we wouldn't be able to do without a lot of community support and obviously volunteer assistance, in the preparation of the meal and the delivery of the meal. But the payoff for us to know that this meal is more than just a warm, delicious meal, but the fact that, it makes a lot of these homebound seniors realize that there are people who are thinking of them during the holidays, which often we take for granted when we're so busy enjoying, time with our own families and loved ones. It's, really important to think of those that don't have a lot of family close by. And, we get so much feedback on this program from the seniors that receive a meal. And in fact, we have some seniors who live at some of the local senior housing complexes that, they get the meal delivered to them and then they actually eat it in a communal setting, which I think is, just wonderful as well. So we're always very proud to do this. We're actually looking, if anybody has any suggestions for people who might benefit from receiving a meal, just please give us a call at 508-862-5754. You can leave a message for Claudia Borden. And if anybody's interested in volunteering to deliver a meal on Wednesday, November 22nd, usually early afternoon between 1 and 3, we'd ask that you give us a call too. And then just lastly, we have really cool computer talk. For a lot of people, I know you and I are among this, is, we have lots of old photographs back in the days when we used to print all of our pictures, and what do you do with them all, especially when you want to get them digitized, have them on our computer so we can email them to people. So we have on Wednesday, November 15th, a talk called Digitizing Old Photos, and we have somebody who's going to come in here and basically tell people, show them, give them some tools as to how they can get their photographs online. And then lastly, one of our most popular classes here is iPad and iPhone tips. We have an instructor called Carl Bertelson. He really is wonderful, and he is doing a 3-part session, I believe, from November 14th to December 12th, from 10 to 11 a.m., and he's basically helping people just become familiar and comfortable using their iPads and iPhones, because for a lot of older adults, this is a really new technology, and these things don't really come with operating manuals.
No.
So it can be a little tricky trying to figure it out, and finding shortcuts and quick ways to just basically how to use it to its best ability, because they can be really life-changing and life-enhancing devices, as we all know, but we want to share some really good insights and tools with people. So Sarah, it's never any different. There's always great stuff going on here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's, this is what we talked about today. It's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more going on at the senior
my
side
goodness,
than just
there's
what
so
we
much
talked
more
about.
to come. Next time we'll be talking about all of our holiday stuff, and then into the new year, because we're getting ready to mail out our December, January compass, so there'll be a lot more good stuff to talk about then.
Wonderful. Thank you, Maddie, so much for joining us today. Have
Take
a great
care.
day.
You too.
Okay,
Bye-bye now.
Bye. My guest today is our Director of Senior Services, Madeline Noonan. Steve, thank you so much for joining us today, filling in for Glenn Cannon.
Happy to.
So we're going to talk about a grant that the Cape Cod Commission, in conjunction with the town of Barnstable, just submitted. It's a federal grant for, I think you said $25 million.
Correct.
To do some updates to Yarmouth Road. So let's talk a little bit about the plans if we get the grant.
So certainly. So this comes out of the Hyannis Access Study. A few years back, the Cape Cod Commission, along with the town of Barnstable, studied ways to improve access to Hyannis, the hospital, commercial areas, Main Street. So there's a couple of different phases that came out of that. Phase 1 is the improvements to Route 28 at Yarmouth Road, intersection where Cam Appliances. I think we've all been stuck there in the past. So we have secured funding for that. So that'll be moving forward in the 2019-2020 timeframe. But the next big piece is Yarmouth Road, Willow Street, heading out to Exit 7. So this grant would be to reconstruct that section of roadway, and the grant is for $25 million for a federal grant from the Targeting Economic Recovery Act.
Wonderful, and that's a very, like we talked about before we started, that's a very busy road, especially for ambulances and emergency vehicles. Mm-hmm. So it's a really important stretch that we want to make sure is accessible, and it's just another entrance into Hyannis and onto the Cape from Exit 7. It's very busy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Certainly being key access to the hospital is really one of the driving forces here. That hospital is behind the plan, along with all the transit providers in the area, getting access to the ferry, the airport, regional transit hub at the Hyannis Transportation Center, all critical. And certainly the 2-lane roadway that they have right now really just isn't capable of handling the volume that we see. Mm-hmm. A few years back, those you probably remember, Route 132 was improved from Exit 6 into Hyannis, from 2 lanes to 4. It'd be a similar project here, trying to really provide the capacity that's needed to provide safe and convenient access into Hyannis.
Mm-hmm. It's such a busy area, and it's you don't think about, like we were talking about the 132. It's like I was saying how I don't even remember it when it wasn't 2 lanes each way. Mm-hmm. So, once this is done, it'll be like, oh, hasn't this always been this way? Because it's just going to open up, like you said, we've all been stuck in traffic in that area. It gets so bogged down no matter which direction you're coming from. Mm-hmm. You get stuck in that light. So, and you said there was everybody in the area, the hospital, the regional transit authority, everyone's on the same page with getting this moved forward. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the plan, and people can view the plan if they're interested in it on the Commission's website.
Certainly, the entire application is available at capecodcommission.org. Tiger 2017. They'll see the entire details of the plan. So you'll see the proposed configuration of the roadway, which would be 4 lanes, and also a multi-use path. So I think the only thing more challenging than getting down that roadway as a car would be as a pedestrian or a cyclist. So we want to make sure that people are able to access that roadway with all modes of transportation.
What would the construction look like in that area? Like how would that road be widened? What would that look like?
So it would involve, first of all, taking all the properties on the west side of Yarmouth Road. There would be fair compensation. They would be relocated if they choose to relocate somewhere else in the town. So essentially they would take those properties and then begin construction activities on that new portion of the roadway without impacting the main roadway. And then essentially that current 2-lane configuration just becomes the northbound barrel, and you have a new southbound barrel. So despite it being a very large and complicated project, the construction phasing is fairly straightforward.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much for telling me. Is there anything else about this project you want our viewers to know before I let you go?
No, certainly it was a great cooperation with the town. I know Town Manager Mark Ells was involved in the early stages of Hyannis Access as the director of the DPW, along with Glenn Cannon in our office. We're happy to come back together and submit this application, and we'll be hearing sometime early 2018, so we look forward to that.
Okay, great. You have to let us know if the application gets accepted and we get the grant, because without that, I don't know if this project will go forward. I know that the light reconstruction is going to happen for sure, so that's something to look forward to in 2019, correct?
Correct, 2019.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming in and telling us all about this grant, and fingers crossed it gets accepted.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. My guest today is Steve Tupper. He's a transportation planner with the Cape Cod Commission. Now let's take a look at our community calendar. The annual Barnstable Recreation Turkey Shoot is taking place this Saturday, November 11th. This event is a fun adult-child basketball shooting contest. A parent guardian is paired up with their child, and each shoot 10 foul shots. The team that makes the most shots in will win a gift certificate and a turkey. Registration is available online, or you can do so Saturday right at the gym. The first group, kindergarten to first grade, will begin at 9 a.m. Second and third grade will be at 9:30. Fourth and fifth at 10 a.m., 6th and 7th at 10:30, and finally 8th through 12th grade will start at 11 a.m. Again, that will be this Saturday, start at the HYCC. It's been held in the past at the high school, so I want to make sure everyone is aware of the location change. It will be this Saturday, November 11th at the HYCC. Another fun turkey-themed event coming up will be the Turkey Bowl, happening November 18th at the HYCC. This will be part of the regular public skating, taking place at 6:40 that night. Kids in 1st through 7th grade can sign up that day and try to knock some pins over to win a Thanksgiving dinner. The only meeting tonight is Zoning Board of Appeals. They will meet tonight at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall hearing room. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow with another great show. We'll catch up with Town Manager Mark Ells, and we will hear from Stage East and West from Sturgis Charter School about their upcoming performance of Big Fish. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Beal.